Values, Craftsman, trust in your hands.
I purchased this Craftsman Toolbox on Facebook Marketplace. The seller wanted $100. I offered $60, he said $80, and I said sold. You can see it's actually 3 boxes, the top being a Kennedy middle box, which I had no interest in, so I ended up selling it on Facebook Marketplace for 20 bucks. So essentially I paid $60 for the 2 Craftsman boxes. What caught my eye is that this is a transition box when the body color went from silver to red. But for 1 year only, Craftsman used the chevron badge. After this 1 year, Craftsman went with the rectangular badge, which they used for many years afterwards. Let's take a look. Okay, so here's my 1974 to 1975 catalog. And you can see the body color is silver and the drawers are red. Here is my 75 to 76 catalog, and you can see the same. All right, check this out. So this is the 1976 to 77 catalog, which is my box. And you can see the body color is now red, but it's using the chevron logo. And then the next year, 77 to 78, body color is still red, but now they're using the rectangular badge. So indeed, a 1 year only box. Here's the box after getting home, and you can see that it had been heavily painted with gray paint, but you could see the red, which is what caught my eye when I saw it on the Marketplace ad. Here is more of the original red paint, and you can see some of the gray on the sides of the drawers. Here's a close-up of the sloppy gray paint, and a close-up of the poor chevron logo screaming, "Please, someone help me." All right, enough talking. Let's get started with the restoration. You can see the top has a bit of an erection problem. I think what happened at one time, someone opened the lid all the way back and stretched the hinge. Here you can see it's out of position and the hinge is pushed back slightly. There's a good picture of it. I first tried applying 180 pounds of brute force to try to push down and straighten out the hinge, but really I didn't do a whole lot. I noticed the locking bar mechanism seemed to be binding, and on my other 2 boxes, this bar is perfectly flat. It doesn't have that loop you see there, so I decided to hammer it down flat. Here's the end result, and it did help quite a bit. I next worked the back of the hinge and then the inside of the hinge, and that seemed to solve the toolbox's erection problem. So next it was time to remove the thick layer of gray paint, and it was making my sander work really hard, and I was going through a lot of sanding discs, so this wasn't working very well at all. Next, I tried a paint scraper, but this turned out to be a lame attempt, and I risked scratching the box, so I didn't go very far doing it this way. What ended up working really well was using an abrasive wheel on my drill. I picked up these abrasive wheels at Harbor Freight, and what it did was to remove the thick layer of paint, leaving only a thin film, which then my orbital sander could remove very easily. And here you can see my orbital sander not having to work as hard. Well, after a lot of sanding, finally all the gray paint was removed. Some spots had a lot more than others, but it was just a lot of sweat equity into this thing to get all that gray paint off. Here are the two drawers, and they're actually in pretty good shape. Not bad. But, much like the cabinet, tons of paint. This is the biggest bummer of all, is all the paint on the logo. So, we'll have to be careful with that. To clean off some of the stubborn paint inside the handle here, it's really stuck in those grooves. I brushed on just a tiny bit of citrus strip. And then just with some steel wool, you can see a nice job of removing it. And we'll clean it up. Should look good. And here are the drawers. Drawer fronts all stripped. Handles cleaned up. Ready for primer and paint. Let's see. All right, here it is, primered. 2 coats of primer, best I could, and then dry sanded with 400 grit, just to get some of the high spots or the bumpy spots from the primer off. So let's see, here we go. Okay, so it's time to paint the drawers, and I've chosen 3 grays, and I'm not happy with any of the 3. The first one was this one, charcoal gray, and it was way too light. Next found this one at Home Depot, Orion gray. Same thing, way too light. Then on one of the Craftsman groups, someone suggested to use deep slate. And this is it, and it's still way too light. This is the stock color from the side of the drawer, untouched, virgin. And yeah, it's way too light. You can see the difference here. Painted, original. Way too light. So, may try a matte black, or we'll see. The color I ended up using was this Rust-Oleum metallic paint and primer, and the color name is Black Stainless Steel, and I was very happy with the end result. You'll see that soon. It may look like the paint is applying a bit blotchy, but it did lay down very nice. So when I painted the top, I used a regular can of Rust-Oleum Sunrise Red, meaning it's just a single spray can, right? So when I went to Lowe's, they had this can with adjustable spray patterns, right? One is just a normal spray. I forget what 2 and 3 are, but 4 is a fan this way, and 5 is a fan up and down. And I didn't know what to think, right? Well, I love it. I think it laid down the paint super nice, as you saw in the video. Much better than just using the regular, ordinary spray pattern. So I give it a thumbs up. Here you can see how well that last can of paint color I use matches with the original paint. So here's the Chevron nameplate, and not sure what to do. It's in great shape, it's just caked with this gray paint, so maybe just some careful scraping and light sanding since it's plastic. Alright, let's see how it goes. Well, that was a pain in the ass, but I got just about all the paint off. And it did scratch a little bit in the background, but which I could do about it. So yeah, I just used picks, razor blades, screwdriver, a little bit of sandpaper, whatever I had to get in there. So, all right. And here's the box, back to close to its original glory. Looks really good next to the Trans Am. And the box is no trailer queen. I'm using it for sure. Well, I hope you liked my video. Do me a favor, hit that like button and consider subscribing to my channel. I'll be doing more of these in the future. Thanks for watching. See you next time.